Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Dior, and this is Middara. As you can see, there's piles of stuff everywhere. The stuff over here is stuff I'm interested in buying, and then the stuff up here is what I'm interested in selling. And the stuff over here is just stuff that we kind of have laying around, with the exception of the monster loot, which I'm going to be trading in both. As much as I like the water lower gem, I don't. There's going to be other things I kind of want over that. So let's kind of go over what's available. Obviously, there's the unique item. I do want to grab this and give it to Rook, just to kind of up his HP as much as possible. Originally, I was going to give him the cloak, so he can have protection, but if he can just soak hits instead, I think that's more than fair. We needed an upgraded bow. We were actually kind of behind on the curve as far as using the Bear of Justice, because the Bear of Justice is kind of in an in-between. It's stronger than a mundane bow, but weaker than a common bow, like a regular common bow. And at this point, it's way out of the league. It's way behind now. So we definitely want to get a new bow. And I'll end up selling the Bear of Justice and returning the Devastatings back to the pile. There are 2 new arrows. What they do is each one of them will give you +2 armor piercing. And then the exhaust abilities, you can use it to ignore all resistances. So if they happen to be resistant to physical, you can ignore that, which can be kind of nice. So now what I'll end up having to do is I'll have 4 arrows on Nightingale and just swap them in and out based off what I'm fighting. The other accessory, the other relic I'm interested in is Puff Brand Classic Tobacco, which gives haste. I mean, I know we have Zeke, but I may end up going away from support roles eventually, or just having the ability to have haste all the time without having to rely on Zeke's turn to apply it. It can be kind of useful. It also takes some of the burden off Zeke to constantly buff everybody. So I think that's a positive, to say the least. And then as far as armor and core, I want at least the Lonely Mountain and the Morbid Leather for Remy. That'll get her 4 more HP, and it'll ensure that her defense remains 12. Because I'm not gonna be wearing the nightgown, and at this point, there's not really anyone in this group that I would actually want to give the nightgown to. So it's gonna probably just go into the pile. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that in the pile. Speaking of the stash, I went ahead and put the planks in there. I don't really find as many opportunities to be able to use it. And I think gradually I might start phasing out the throwing knives and instead favoring the hyper energy potions for healing and stamina instead. But we'll see. As you can see, we have a lot of items just kind of laying around. We did get a lot of loot these past few sprints, to say the least. So what I'm thinking, I can't afford everything at this point. So let's go ahead and buy the stuff that I know I'm definitely going to get. I'm definitely going to get the bow, the arrows, and at least this stuff. So here it is. We're looking at 200, 300, 440. 530, I believe that's right. 200, 300, 440, 530. So we'll buy these first. So 530, that leaves us with 81 gold. Yeah, pretty much all that gold we just made just evaporated. And then we can swap out the cat suit and the gene tweak. Grab these. Alright, so Morbid Leather, the main thing is just the 12 health, but it does have the ability where if you're attacked by an opponent that you are flanking, you get +1 defense. Also, if any attack you make exceeds an opponent's defense by 2 or more, you do an additional 2 physical damage. Also, you reduce physical damage from melee attacks by 2. The Lonely Mountain has dodge as an exhaust as usual, and then it also has an exhaust where at any time you can gain +1 armor, which can actually be pretty cool for Rook to increase his damage even further. So let's find out what her health is at now. She's at 12 base. This brings her up to 24, 26, 30, 34, 38. So I'll bring her up to 38 health. That means the twins will have 19 health each. Everything else is fine. She technically has 1 armor now, and that is the gist of it. And she also has nano robes. I may end up giving her the organic clothes, to be honest, and just go even higher in health. I'll give her another 3, putting it at 41, which will make the twins have 20 health each, which is still pretty impressive. And eventually end up 21 once I get her 4th discipline. So we'll see. In any case, so like I said, I bought these. Yeah, 300, 440. Yeah. All right, and then we're going to swap out the bow and the devastatings for the cave bow, and we'll grab these arrows, which are just going to go in her pack for now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sell these items up here and see where we're at gold-wise. So we're going to get rid of the devastatings, and then it is 15 gold for a unique mundane. So 15, 30, 45, and then 5 gold for just regular mundanes. So that's 15, 30, 45, 60 gold here. So unique items don't go back in the stash as far as I know. They just get gone forever, which I'm okay with. So this is going to give us 60 gold back, which is enough to buy another item if we want it. I kind of want the tobacco. But before we do any of that, I'm going to trade in the Ablation. So a few things you can do with Ablation. You can sell it for gold. You can sell you can sell monster loot for gold. You can trade it in to unlock a upgrade, or you can use it to gain automatically gain an upgrade. It doesn't unlock it, but you'll gain an upgrade. You can grab it. You could grab it from something that you haven't unlocked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trade this in for an upgrade, but it is going to be one I have unlocked already. I'm going to get Otherworldly and put that on the cave bow. So, as I mentioned before, Otherworldly is top tier. It essentially makes it so now spellbooks will actually do things. The cave bow does have actual spellbooks on it where it makes her move around, but I don't really need it. Some cool things about the cave bow is immunity to darkness, so she can never be afflicted with darkness, which is always nice. Every shield is +1 damage. Every starburst is 3 damage. It's green and red for the dice, which is a lot better than what she had. Has the standard longbow ability where if she doesn't move, she gets +1 to the attack. And then attacks made against opponents with an SOI that occupy hindering terrain, you ignore the effect of the terrain in that space. Now, if you're shooting through hindering terrain, it still takes the -1, but if you happen to be shooting exactly into a space that has hindering, you can at least ignore that space. So it's better than nothing. And now, essentially, every 2 spellbooks will be 2 magic damage, which will, bypass armor, which is always good. So, pretty good stuff there. So now she essentially is rolling red and green. And then I'm going to trade in the Waterlower gem for the same thing. I'm going to get an Otherworldly, and I'm going to put it on the Rune Switchblade. So now this combo here is every shield is +1 physical, every burst is 3 magic, and then every 2 spellbooks is 2 magic. The Rune Switchblade is a unique uncommon, so it's pretty safe to kind of upgrade at this point. Best case for an upgrade beyond this is to switch to the next tier of Longsword, which would actually, if it comboed light, would actually give me a gray die. But I don't exactly have the funds to throw around for that. Alright, so next thing we want to do, I do have the Perpetrator Catsuit and Gene Tweak, which I'm going to hold on to for right now. We'll put it in the stash for now. Enjoy. Make sure that put it in there properly. It did. Okay. Alright. So anything else we want to get rid of? We have a Sparrow Lineage Edge and a Sea Witch Fetish. We're not going to be using the Sea Witch Fetish anymore. The Lineage Edge, we're not going to use anymore. I mean, this is one we didn't even use. Every common is 10 gold, so this would give us 20 gold back. So that would get us at least a step closer to where we want to be. So let's go ahead and trade that in. Get 20 gold back. We're at 161 now. We'll have at least 2 side quests we can do to try to get more money if necessary. Is there anything else I want to mess around with? I don't really care about the Bauble of Ablation. I want to hold on to Hemlock and Sarah. Fortune Cookie's fine. Hidden Piercings are fine. I'm going to get rid of this because it's just a flip effect. Fight Drive is fine to keep. I'm going to keep the Problem Solver, I think. And obviously, I'm always going to keep accessories. So this would give us another 20 gold. If we want to go for it. Oh, speaking of also the Thief Dagger that Remy had, I passed on to Zeke, so now he has that as another throw weapon. I'm just kind of seeing what other options I could have at this point. I think I'm going to stick with the club for now for Zeke's main weapon. Hemlock and Sarah we're going to hold on to, but I'm not going to equip it to anyone because they don't need it. Zeke also has enough experience to actually get a level 2, another level 2 if he wanted to, which will cost him 6 experience, and I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And what I'm going to do is do Proof of Divinity, because everything else I don't really care about. There's Paradigm Assault, which is kind of neat. It's where if you hit it with an attack, you can buff somebody with just various stuff, but I think I want something more reliable. So Proof of Divinity will make it so you can give people courage, which of course gives you those plus symbols. Bad part about courage is you lose it if you ever miss, but it's free to use, so I think I'm going to go ahead and grab that. So that's going to cost him 6 experience, bring him back down to 0. So he's now full-on support guy now. We'll go ahead and make a copy of courage. That over here. All right. Next. Yeah, I think I want to get rid of the bauble. We do have a spare fight drive. I think I'll do Hidden Piercings. I'm not too concerned about defense on Nightingale. We'll go Fight Drive on her. I think that's fair. It's either that or I do it with Zeke. Fate Engine's fine. For now, at least. Actually, a Fight Drive will go to Zeke. Because the haste item I'm probably going to give to Nightingale. Sir, Fate Engine, all of that. I haven't really gone over a lot of the stuff that's kind of available to us. At this tier, we actually get access to Plate Mail, which is less HP but has up to 3 armor. And instead of having the ability to just negate all physical damage, you can exhaust it to reduce physical damage by 4, which is a lot, because you've already seen what Rook's armor can do. Also, if he's ever a target of an attack, even if you're dealt damage, he can still counter. So that's a passive effect, so now he can immediately counter. He can counter without any concern. Mantle actually is kind of cool, because anytime you're damaged, you can roll a skull. If you roll black and get a skull, you inflict wilt as a counter. We already know about the leather. The threads give you extra damage when flanking, and you ignore the first break attack you would provoke each turn, which is pretty cool. Beyond that, though, that's about it. As for the weapons, there's tons. They're all pretty crazy and do all sorts of things. Yeah, a lot of the main spellcasting ones, if you roll a lot of spell books, you can actually do some extra effects. Um, and your shield can protect other people. Pretty standard stuff, to be honest. But yeah, there's quite some variety. The throwing axes here do red dice of damage, and anytime you deal physical damage to an opponent, you can heal one, which is kind of neat. And then the scythe has a chance of inflicting condemned. Yeah, it's all pretty intense stuff. Let's see, does this do push? Yeah, push one and inflict paralyze. All right. I'm planning Rook. Once he gets one more experience, he can actually get another level 1, which I'm probably going to do and pick up the one that lets him inflict wilt, crumbling time here, because I think that'll help with damage output. But I can't do it yet because he doesn't have enough experience. And as for Nightingale, she's going to be picking up Blot Out the Sun, which essentially just rains arrows down on things for a lot of extra damage. And then Remy here will get some top tier. She can either get Soul Bond. Yeah, so with this one, I can make it so the Loyal Espers can spend Remy's stamina to do extra things. Or I can do the Tower reversed and cast a spell which only does 3 damage for each effect the target has, then inflict darkness, disease, and paralysis, which would cover pretty much all the other status effects that remain. Which would be kind of interesting to do. I might do that one. I've done Soul Bond, which is pretty cool. With Soul Bond, you would essentially get up to like 6 tokens at a time, which is insane. But if I get, give her an ability to inflict more status effects, that might be pretty cool too. Because yeah, disease is actually pretty useful, as is poison. Was it poison? No, it's paralysis, disease, and darkness, which will cover the 3 status effects I don't actually have access to. So not too bad. All right. So, like I said, I'm still trying to I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do. So I need 39 more gold. Can I get 39 more gold somewhere? Technically, I can get it by selling stuff, and I think I might end up selling stuff. I might sell the Gene Tweak at this rate. Actually, we can get rid of True Flight arrows. I don't intend on using those ever again. So that would be 10, 20, 30. I need to sell one more item. One more item and I'll be able to buy everything I want for right now. Let's see. I might get rid of the problem solver. You know what? I'm going to get rid of the hidden piercings of protection for right now. So that'll be 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah. That'll get me 40 gold back. Gold back, and then I'll spend 200 to get 1 gold left. And that'll give me access to the classy Tabaki, which is going to go straight to Nightingale. So she is now permanently haste, unless she gets diseased. And then the organic clothes, let's give it to Remy. Let's go all in for her health. So that'll put her at 41 health. 12, 24, 26. 30, 38, 41. Yep. And then we can pass the nanorobes to Rook for now. He can at least re-roll conviction checks. If I remember, that is. Alright, and that'll leave us with the problem solver, the cloak, and a fortune cookie. We'll get more relics, and the relics here are actually really kind of cool. The Soothsaying MP3 player is really, really good. Lets you force people to re-roll their conviction check. The Caller of the Ebon Rule is actually pretty cool with what we have. If we can get that to Rook. The Bad Man's Book of Baddies allows you to summon level 1 and 2 Espers, so that's essentially Zulfikar and Eliphi. So the Spirit Sword and the Vesera Aramid. There's one that prevents you from dying from damage. Really kind of interesting things. And there's the wand here that can actually let you place blank tokens, which are pretty cool as well. But yeah, I think the next thing I would really want is the Soothsaying MP3 player, but I don't need it immediately. Obviously, I would like to get more armor upgrades if possible. If I can get plate on freaking Rook and the that collar, he would have a base 6 armor, and then if he places his barrier on himself, if he gets barrier on himself, that's 7 armor, so 14 damage per Courage Stifle. That'll be some pretty cool stuff. Also, since we're in the next tier of gear, we will be fighting the next tier of monsters in most cases, so you get to look forward to that nonsense. As well as some new monsters we haven't encountered yet. But, yeah, like I said, I think the plan is going to be to do Patel family influences first, and then we'll do a distress call. Because I know what's at a distress call, and I want to be as prepared as possible for it. And yeah, I think that's it. So Remy's a little bit more bashy now. We don't have automatic empower dies on our summons anymore, but that's okay. They did fine without them, to be honest. And then we now have Courage as one of our new buffs to play around with. We'll see how that goes. Constant haste on Nightingale will hopefully allow her to shred things. And if we can get through the next side quest, we can get ourselves access to Wilt, and that will hopefully make our lives a little bit easier. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Sorry if it was a little dull and droning on, but it's like I wanted to figure out what to do with this gear. As you can tell, we had over 600 gold coming into this, and we barely afforded 7 items, I think. But we do have some unique weapons. I think the Oversized Club could be pretty good. 2 Teals might be a little bit behind, but if he hits, he can do that extra purple damage, which will hopefully balance things out. He'll stick with the Brute Serum for now. We got a new bow, so Nightingale's damage should probably skyrocket. She no longer has to rely on freaking empowering everything to do all that extra damage now, because every shield will actually do damage for her, as well as every spellbook almost. So hopefully that's going to really put things together. In any case, let's go ahead and call it. I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this was Middara. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.